Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the new show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is March 11th, 2024. It is Season 3, Episode 71. We're all caught up on the podcast. They're all over at YouTube as well. Don't forget to download them and like and subscribe and ring the bell and everything. We're over here on Twitch as well. All of this. Come and check us out. But first, the rundown. The Lights of the North, Sriracha-cha-cha, Speedometer browser. Why are you surveilling inside, you creeps? How about, I read this as human emotion. This woman has a lot of gas. Not this woman. It tried to catch a door bolt. Open Battle Royale. Follow the Sun Logger, and Brain Surgeon Simulator finally pays off. That and more here on ohmTown Daily. If I'm sounding like I'm running kind of haggard, I'll explain here in a minute. I am Merwatt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the Sentient AI's visualizer. You want to say hi?
Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
Hey, all right. So for whatever reason, there was no communication. So it's inside baseball, but we don't edit. So if anything sounds odd, we'll find out in post, really. But we don't edit the show so that you know everything is on the up and up. Nothing has been snipped out because of whatever. And our reactions to the news is authentic because we typically have some experience in the matter, but we haven't read the nuts and bolts of the articles. So it's kind of like a reaction news show, really. So I hope you enjoy the show. We go for about an hour and 20 minutes, each of these ohmTown Daily News Show episodes. We're now up to 5 shows. 4 on the weekends plus ohmTown Daily on the weekends. And then Monday through Friday, we do the ohmTown Daily News Show at 8 p.m. Eastern. Regardless of the time change, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. At least until, I don't know, Congress, I think. It takes an act of Congress to shut down daylight saving. Anyway, 21st century. Let's move on and talk about our first article. So, as if climate change isn't bad enough, now we have holes in Earth's magnetic field could cause extra northern lights this month, and here's how to spot them. So when a beam of light shoots from the sky, it's probably not a laser-based weapon system, it's the northern lights coming to get you. What is that called when you just burst into light and ascend to the heavens? What do they call that? Can't remember.
I have no idea.
Everybody was all for it, a bunch of years ago and whatever. So yeah, here we go. ohmTown Daily is where the article is housed. The little snippet. This is all we ever aggregate.
Ascension?
Ascended. Yeah, Ascension. So March 2024 may be the best month in the best year to see the northern lights, aka the aurora borealis. That's because the sun is hyperactive. Too much sugar. What can I say? And the equinox, or I should say, it's trending towards having too much lead, and that leads to. No, I don't know if that leads to hyperactivity.
It can't lead to good things, though.
Don't yuck the sun's yum. Maybe it likes to be hyperactive and trend towards lead. There's a whole video about why atoms.
Yeah. I was going to say a lot of things trend toward lead.
Everything nuclear trends towards lead. It's really weird. It's neat, and I don't think anybody really knows why. Everybody's taking stabs at it, but go look on YouTube. There's a whole thing. Why does everything become lead? So, aka the aurora borealis, that's because the sun is hyperactive and the equinox can create holes in the Earth's magnetic field. And here's everything you need to know to spot the northern lights. I.e., stare at the sun until... No, don't do that.
Never do that, especially during a solar eclipse.
That's right. But, you know, I'm no president or anything. So Marion, I said Guineau here, Marianne Guineau first, but Morgan McFall Johnson is the author of this. I would love to see the Northern Lights. I've never seen them. I had an opportunity to go to Alaska, and I figured that that's where I'd be able to see them, and it was my only reason really to go. Like, I was going to do work up there, but I said, am I really going to have to work? Am I going to be able to go out there? And they were like, no, we're all going to be trapped in this room. So never mind. So Alaska is like the last place that I've not been, and I want to go. I hear it's cold. Bring a jacket.
It's probably pretty chilly there.
Northern Lights in Whitley, I think it's Whitley Bay, England, on April 24th, 2023. So just under a year ago.
Not a normal place for Northern Lights.
That is amazing. I would love to see that. But I want to see it, like, because it's with greater fidelity, right? In person, there's greater fidelity. So I want to see it like that, cascading down. It would be amazing. So the Aurora Borealis, commonly called the Northern Lights, are the stunning ribbons of shimmering green, pink, purple, and red that dance in the skies of the Arctic. Ooh.
Like choreography.
It's Aurora Borealis ASMR. Actually, the music that's playing in the background, that actually is.
It kind of fits.
Very Aurora, not the singer Aurora, but. So when the conditions are right, they can appear as far south as Arizona or even Florida. And I suppose that's when we're just about to turn into Mars. But why the sun and holes in our magnetic field are good, make for good auroras. That's because particles stream through our magnetic field when there are holes. And that's what actually is causing these lights, the energized particles that are flowing into Earth's atmosphere. It's amazing. So yeah, our magnetic field defends us from this and other things, ionized particles. Both steps of the process are ramped up right now. For one, the sun is near the peak of its solar cycle. Powerful eruptions, solar flares, bursts of solar wind from coronal holes in the sun's atmosphere are becoming more common, sending more winds rushing over our planet. With the right equipment, when we see a solar eclipse that is arriving, with the right equipment, you'll actually be able to see things like that. Coronal mass ejections, you'll actually see them blow off layers of the sun. It's pretty amazing. Wow, that's really amazing. Oh, by the way, the sun isn't black like that, right? It isn't dark. That isn't a shadow.
Is that just where we can't see it?
No, this is actually a difference in contrast. And so to see this, the flow of the surface of the sun, they change what the brightness is, and these black spots are out of the range of the rest of it. So they show up as being black spots. They're cooler spots, actually. So the equinox happens when the Earth's axis is perpendicular to the sun's rays. That causes a special alignment where, not really special, it is an alignment where the planet's magnetic field points in precisely the opposite direction of many of the solar wind magnetic fields. This alignment causes the Earth's and sun's magnetic fields to merge in the process called magnetic reconnection. Creates openings in the Earth's magnetic field that allow the solar wind to transfer energy to our atmosphere with less friction, and doesn't get deflected as much. So I guess we essentially get scrubbed by the sun's rays because it actually penetrates.
That's one
deeper.
way to look at it.
Yeah. The sun is trying to rid the Earth of all of us. Not really. So how to see and photograph the aurora. First check aurora forecast on the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration website if things are happening on the sun. This can change day to day. So when the northern lights come to lower latitudes, including most of the US, they can be fainter than they appear in photos from Alaska or Norway. And I want to go to Norway at least at some point. I don't recall being there. Maybe when I was a kid, I don't remember. So Northern Lights, also called Aurora Borealis, dance in the sky over Tromsø, Norway. You can actually take trips that are designed to show you this.
Yeah, I think that's one of the premier areas to see the northern lights.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Gosh, imagine living there. But all of that cold, oof, all the time, really. So if you live in a city, you probably want to exit because you're going to get light pollution. They say prepare for the cold. There are several types of aurora. But this is going to be probably your best chance for another decade. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this. Yeah, everything has to line up properly. So
I think this is the time, right? Like the year's supposed to be spectacular, and then this month is supposed to be spectacular.
Correct. Yep. Because the equinox and at the solar maximum, it's all combining to hopefully not create a perfect storm that, yeah, we'll just wait until our magnetic field flips and then we'll all see the aurora for the rest of our lives. Let's keep going though. Sorry. There we go. So this next article is over in the Mobile channel, and the Mobile channel is kind of like a merging of words called the mobile mob, and it's designed to be public source news. Basically, citizens of ohmTown can submit news, and it would more freely flow into mobile than into other categories. But then Mayor Watt can grab that article and throw it into another section if so needed or desired. But this one here, housed in the Mobile channel, is from Quartz. Sriracha's most recognizable brand has a contender that swooped in during the shortage. By now, they say they're a regular on the Sriracha beat. First, they covered Huai Fong's return to the shelves after an ongoing drama between the company and its former supplier caused the hot sauce to vanish from grocery stores nationwide. Not sure if you know about this, but Huai Fong. So hold on, let me just go over to Quartz. So this is by Quartz. Luke Graglia from The Takeout posted this article over at qz.com. And the deck statement.
So which one is the well-known one?
Yeah, hold on, I'll get to it. The deck statement says Underwood Ranches, the former supplier of Huai Fong's peppers, now makes its own version of the spicy chili sauce. So here's how it worked. The Huai Fong's pepper producer used to supply to the original, the Rooster, on this side. That was the green tipped transparent bottles. That was the Sriracha that everybody was losing their mind for. And it only ramped up worse and worse and worse. And then the pandemic hit. But during the pandemic, some drama went down between the producers of those peppers and Huai Fong. So, or I should say the original Sriracha. Let's just call it that, the original Sriracha. So what ended up happening was the new Sriracha contender started producing their own. And it was superior because Huai Fong's new pepper supplier wasn't the original peppers anymore. And people were like, meh.
Wow.
And the production dropped dramatically. And basically the new contender, it says many customers have shifted their loyalty to Underwood Ranches, Huai Fong's former pepper supplier and now a producer of its very own Sriracha. They were curious to try
That's
Underwood's.
a really odd turn of events.
My understanding is that there was some contractual obligations that weren't being met by Huifeng. But now I don't know. Because it's been a while since I paid any attention to this. But I had been watching it, with bated breath to see what was going on. So the new Weifang might be milder than its previous iteration, but Underwood's sauce is even milder. That is to say, it doesn't have heat whatsoever. It was also far more vinegary, perhaps to compensate for the lack of heat. They kept dipping into it, thinking that maybe they were going crazy because all of the online hype vows that Underwood is the best, hands down, but each bite was just as perplexing as the last. A lot of this comes down to texture. Weifang has the thickness of a sauce. Underwood is more like a viscous vinegar. So they show a little sample of this up here, but if it doesn't have any heat, I'm surprised that people are really interested in this new Sriracha.
Right, I thought that was the whole appeal of it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a complex flavor and spice, and I wasn't really nuts for it, but people around me definitely, like, they were going, we have like 2 bottles and we need to protect it with our lives. And I'm like, dude, it's just a sauce.
Okay.
Just relax.
Intense.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't really care either way. Now, I'm not really even into the Sriracha flavor. I like other hot sauces. But if this doesn't even have any pepper to it, I just don't understand it. Are Underwood's peppers the secret to the sauce? The new Huifang Sriracha, that is, the version that returned to store shelves after a lengthy absence, features peppers from a new supplier, tastes pretty much identical to its previous incarnation, but notably it's a bit more mild. I honestly have heard that the old one just ain't the new one, and I don't think that the new one has what the original had. So in this pissing for distance contest that they've undertaken, they've ruined it for the people that really appreciate the true nature of the sauce, because neither one has the original formula in totality.
Right, which doesn't seem to help either of them.
Right. It says Reddit evangelists swear up and down that Underwood sauce tastes indistinguishable from the original Huifang formula thanks to its use of the original peppers. But unless the process is identical to the original, you're missing something. Now I want to go out and find an original sauce, which is like going to be 2 years old.
It's going to be like on the black market.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess call me, I'm out. I'm not even going to bother with this, because I'd rather just go find something where there isn't a big, peeing for distance contest.
Well, but if you taste the original and really like it, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because you might not be able to get that.
And now there's Roland as well. Roland Sriracha, which is a third company. Roland, on the other hand, is very bright, vibrant red. When they poured all 3 onto the plate, it was easy to distinguish each one. So, but they don't really talk about, it says they continued eating their quesadilla and they applied Roland Sriracha until the heat began to desensitize their taste buds. At that point, they switched over to Huifang and continued dipping until they finished their meal, and they didn't go back to Underwood at all. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I bet the charts on these manufacturers is just crazy, right? Like one's like going way straight up and then one's plummeting down, and another one's going up. They're like, what is happening?
What? Yeah, I cannot plan my business. Yeah, that'd be funny. I wonder, which one actually is. But again, without the original, it has to have all of the same moving parts. And if you don't have the same moving parts, then you had better find whatever it is that's keeping you from getting that same flavor back. Obviously, they've got to find a different pepper grower.
This sounds like a good opportunity for a new pepper supplier to enter the market, right? You really liked the original pepper. Here's
the same
whatever.
Pepper by a different grower, but it's the same pepper, Watch the secret ingredient be like crack, and that's why.
Oh, that might explain some of the intensity
Yeah, like
around
original
the
Coke.
product.
Yeah. Let's go. The next article is over in Smack Talk because it has to do with Apple in some way, and we aggregate everything Apple into the Smack Talk category. But Google, Apple, and Firefox released new Speedometer 3.0 browser benchmark. I know it's speedometer. I just like saying speedometer better. Speedometer has long been Google's preferred benchmark, previously noting that it's most reflective of the real world when comparing JavaScript performance. Well, now Speedometer 3.0 is available. This is over at 9to5google.com. Abner Lee is the author of this. I just don't know what else to say about this. If you want to go and check your speed results, the Speedometer 3.0 is the result of a collaboration, joint multi-stakeholder governance model between Blink V8, Gecko SpiderMonkey, and WebKit JavaScript core browser engines, with Microsoft also
Okay, who's
involved.
naming all of this?
These are the different cores of browsers. For instance, WebKit is Apple. So version 1.0 was in 2014, created by the WebKit team, while 2.0 saw a partnership between Apple and Google in 2018, and now 2024 is 3.0. And they go into a little bit more complex things. I'm not going to go through all of this, but other browser makers have also posted their own detailed posts regarding their browser. So go and check that out. And have fun. Here, let me throw it into the chat. You can always have, if you're into the tech side of things, then this is for you. Because most people, they're not going to run across this as something. There is no seismic shock difference between one browser and another until you start really pushing the limits of your browser.
Right, probably somebody just going to eBay is not going to notice a huge difference.
Right. Yep. Let's keep going. So this one bothered me. This bothered me a lot. I titled this section, "Why Are You Surveilling Inside, You Creeps?" Why are they surveilling inside? Airbnb banning indoor security cameras.
I thought your problem was that you didn't want them to lose the security cameras, and that's why you were so worked up.
Yes, that's exactly it. See, I think SNL just did a skit about an Airbnb thing. It might be from this, but
wow.
But it was, I think it was this weekend's SNL, because they were house flippers or something like that, and they turned it into an Airbnb. You can get anything ready for to be an Airbnb, and they put a camera in the toilet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
But this is just one step away. Literally, it can be one step away. You creepy bastards. Come on. Airbnb will start banning the use of indoor security cameras in all listings globally at the end of the month, the company announced Monday. The goal of the policy shift, the company said, is to simplify our policy on security cameras while continuing to prioritize the privacy of our community. No, inside...
Hey, get all your surveillance in the next... 20 days.
Good God, it's so creepy. You know what the clear rule should be? If you're renting somebody's property, you don't steal anything. And if you're renting your property, you had better trust that nobody's going to steal anything, because it should be illegal to surveil a residence that's being rented. They don't do it in hotel rooms.
We've seen some notable things in the headlines about where that didn't happen.
Yeah, this is I think that it's disgusting, and it shouldn't be a policy in 2024 that they're banning indoor security cameras. I understand if you want to put security cameras outside, fine. But inside, there's an expectation of privacy from stem to stern, unless you are the resident and you're putting security cameras inside your own residence for whatever reason. maybe you want to sit there and monitor your cats or your dog, and you want to talk to them through the microphone and tell them to get off the damn counter, whatever it might be, right?
Stop eating the crackers.
That's right. It's a plastic bag. Stop chewing on the corner. Get out of there. Meanwhile, there's like 5 cats that are now freaking out because I'm saying this out loud. Anyway, the revised policy comes out as a result of extensive consultation with guests, hosts, privacy experts, and advocacy groups, the company said. And that, because it took extensive consultation, I'll never do an Airbnb. I think the cold death of the universe is going to prevent me from doing an Airbnb.
Or you just get in there with your your detectors.
You become a never nude. Oh, right. Yeah. You can go and hunt for cameras, and then it's duct tape all over the damn place. But they'll sit there and fine you because you're tampering with something or blah, blah, blah. No. Extensive consultation on this matter, particularly privacy. Yeah. Makes me question leadership. All right. The article is over at The Hill. Sarah Fortinsky is the author of this, thehill.com. So yeah, the revised policy comes as a result of extensive consultation with guests and hosts, privacy experts, and advocacy groups. In the past, security cameras were permitted in certain areas inside as long as they were disclosed in the listing page prior to booking and were clearly visible. The cameras were not allowed in sleeping areas and bathrooms. Oh, it's 8:32. No shit news. But they were allowed in hallways and living rooms. What the hell?
I don't get that at all.
Now they're banning in all locations, regardless of their location. Noise decibel monitors are permitted in common spaces. The devices monitor sound levels. Why? Which can both be useful to deter issues like unauthorized parties and do not record sounds or conversations, the announcement said. No. If you're not violating a law, then you should be able to rent the place. I mean, what is this? It's like they're trying to control
dystopian.
Animals. Yeah. Here is your 3 slices of cheese for your stay. Use them well. You're only getting 3. And then we're going to have to volunteer you as tribute, and you're going to have to kill everybody for food at the cornucopia. In the announcement, the company said, we're trending towards dystopia. No, I guess they're trying to...
None of the above was in the announcement.
Noting that most listings do not report having security cameras, still, the company announced the policy will take effect April 30th. So, everybody, get out your surveillance camera detectors. You'll need an IR detector, and yeah. Turn off the lights and use an IR detector, and you'll find your hidden cameras. All right, let's keep going. Gosh, it's just so creepy. All right, so the next article is over in Technology Today. I tagged this as being, I keep reading this as human emotion, but it's not human emotion. It isn't like Monsters Incorporated. Harvesting human motion energy. The promise of wearable triboelectric nanogenerators. So,
who knows what this is?
Basically, nanogenerators and triboelectric is if whenever you move, you basically generate energy. So there's a lot of mechanical energy in human activities, but human activities are low frequency and irregular. As such, traditional electromagnetic power generation cannot efficiently collect this energy without affecting the normal activities of the human body. And there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of, you have to do it in a certain direction. It's bigger, it's mechanical. Like if you want to generate power, and the only way you can do it is either have some weird apparatus that keeps moving the generator in the same direction, or it stops partially as you walk because with each step, there's one that powers it and one that stops power generation. But then you can actually set up a gearworks, motion. What do they call them? Oh, I can't remember the watches. There are watches that self-wind with any motion.
Perpetual motion?
It's not perpetual motion though, because that's not.
I know that's not actually a thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll violate a law, but you can set up the gearing in a mechanism so that the generator is always moving forward in the same direction and always generating power. And that's kind of what triboelectric nanogenerators are capable of doing, except that they're really tiny. And it's based on motion alone, not a
like a mechanical clock.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's hard to explain it without actually showing you a demonstration of it, but there's certain types of rowing mechanisms that no matter which way you row, it's moving the row forward so that you're always providing power in each pull and push. But it's this weird gearing thing, and it's really complex. But anyway, over at techexplore.com, Songshan Lake Materials Laboratory put this article together, and it says a new energy harvesting method called triboelectric nanogenerator, or TANG, not Tang, but TANG, can efficiently collect low frequency and irregular mechanical energy, such as mechanical vibration, sound waves, raindrops, and so on. But there's a catch. Achieving the flexibility, stretchability, and wearability of the TANG is a prerequisite for harvesting energy from the human body. Therefore, scientists' mission is to make the TANG wearable. Ta-da! So as a solution, a team of Chinese scientists applied the art of paper cutting to the development of TANG. They created a stretchable, breathable, and wearable TENG, or TANG, based on non-stretchable materials using paper cutting methods. So it's expected to extend the standby time of electronic devices and even enable self-powering. But you'll still have to connect your device to it. So if you have, think of it as powering your still suit when you are on dune and peeing into your still suit. It will actually do the electrical portion of separating and I guess distilling your bodily fluids so that you can drink from it.
Do you think this was inspired by Dune?
I wonder if it's down here that they just dropped that in there to make it approachable, you know? Nah, it just says they can convert mechanical energy into the body's daily activities into electrical energy to extend the battery life of electronic products and even achieve self-powered, which is expected to change the form of energy supply of wearable electronic products in the future. But by the way, when they say achieve self-powered, yes, by the mechanical motion, which is the same as extending the battery life, there is no way for the device itself in its own motion to power itself, because that would be a perpetual motion machine, which would violate the laws of physics. Or so we think until the aliens land.
Well, we've just seen recently that, like, the opposites attract law is kind of out the window. So,
right. We didn't even talk about that.
They update these things.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go and look on ohmTown.com to find that article, because we didn't really highlight it. But yeah, they've some scientists have discovered a way to flip the poles where opposites don't attract, they repel. You know, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. It's basically Ghostbusters. The next thing you know, there's going to be a documentary. Oh, there is a documentary about ghosts.
Oh, and Men in Black is with who you're going to call? Oh, I thought it was Ghostbusters.
and Ghostbusters and Men in Black about aliens and all of that tech. Maybe this is alien tech. Ooh. You know what, Mayor Watt? Just keep going. This next article is really just being judged by its cover. I was in a chat earlier today where somebody said most of us just read the news based on the headline. Well, we read the news based on the headline and a little snippet. And then we make some snarky title like "This woman has a lot of gas." A Nebraska
That is
woman.
a lot of gas.
One woman stole $28,000 worth of gas. The Nebraska woman exploited a glitch in a gas pump software that allowed her to get nearly $30,000 of free gas until the owners figured out what she was doing. People say it ain't be like it is, but it do. Now the 45-year-old is in a whole lot of trouble. But why? I mean, she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was just mashing a bunch of buttons, right? How did she figure out how to do this? So, the article is over at Quartz. Andy Kolmowitz, that's awesome. Over at Jalopnik, actually put this together, but Jalopnik is part of Quartz, I believe. Anyway, Don Thompson has been charged with 1 count of theft after capitalizing on a vulnerability in the gas pumps at a shop called Pump and Pantry, which
That's an odd name. I think they need to update that.
If they put a Victoria's Secret in there, it would be a Pump and Pantry and Panty. Or Pump and Pantry. Pump and Panty.
Do not contact Bayer Watt for your marketing.
Hey now, I want to do a whole show about it.
Not for the Pump and Pantry, anyway.
Oh, Pump and Panty that got her 27,860. Okay, I'll say it correctly. AI is sending me error messages. Correct that. So they stole gas. Don Thompson stole gas to the tune of about $28,000, according to 1011 Now. I guess that's a news place. Yeah, 1011 Now. That's the next one up from 1010 Now, and one right behind 1012 Now.
1012 is tomorrow.
Tomorrow's news today. Powered by an AI, because it's all going to be bullshit.
1010 was yesterday.
1010 was yesterday. So if you want today's news today, yeah, listen to 1011 Now. Not 1011 later or 1011 before. You listen to 1011 Now. It took the owners about 6 months to figure out what she was doing. That's when the shop owner's loss prevention manager tackled her in the parking lot and beat her about the head and shoulders with a gas pump handle.
None of that was in the article.
No, so the loss prevention manager discovered one card had been repeatedly used to get free gas. Spoiler, it was Thompson's. So do they say how they do it? Upon further investigation, police learned that the fuel pumps received a software update in November of 2022. The update managed orders and reward cards, and it was made at the request of customers and staff. Unbeknownst to the company, however, the update was exploitable to anyone. It allowed anyone to swipe a rewards card twice to enter the pump into demo mode. And from there, they could pump for free. It's not a feature, right? Right?
Yeah,
it's
is
a
that
feature.
a bug or a feature?
That is hilarious. Oh my goodness.
That's incredible.
So if she would have done this just chill, they probably wouldn't have even noticed. Thompson was using the trick multiple times per day, according to 1011 Now. She got cocky. Police say she pumped 7,413.59 gallons of gasoline during those uses at a cost of $376. Wow. 6 months, $28,000. Yeah, you got greedy. You could have flown under the radar. You flew too close to the sun. And
that's right. You melted your wings.
Yeah. The arrangement, she actually discounted fuel for other people, apparently. The arrangement was also was that the woman would pay Thompson for the privilege of using the card. In total, police say the unnamed woman paid Thompson $500 to $700 paid Thompson $500 for $700 worth of gas between 10 uses.
So wait a second. Not only was she getting all this free gas, but she was also getting money from other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, I mean, they only list one, but another person started using the card in 2023. Wow. Wow. But why was it only that card? It said it was so simple that you could just swipe it twice.
Right, which somebody did by accident.
Yeah, why
somewhere
wouldn't it
else. So why was it only that card?
Why wouldn't it trigger? Wow. All right. That's nutty. One woman, $28,000.
The amount of effort. This is like the one who stole a bunch of things from the mail, right? I mean, it took like years and multiple post office boxes. It's just, these things are so elaborate.
And based on this, it looks like it was 10 gas pumps, one woman. So let's just move on. So the next article is over in the Mobile Channel. 12 hospitalized after Boeing-made plane dips violently. It's funny that they just drop Boeing in there because Boeing is basically the current one that's getting like that.
Yeah,
gas
like they're
pump.
trying to put a stab at it, right? It's not just like a plane.
Yeah, just like a quarter in the ball kicking machine. So 12 hospitalized after Boeing made plane dips violently. These 12 passengers, I don't think that it was a plane that dipped violently for nothing. I think, as I wrote in the article or in the rundown, I think that the plane decided that it was going to kind of dive for a bolt that fell off. And that's what actually happened.
12 passengers. I thought it was trying to retrieve a shirt or a cell phone.
Or a door, or a wheel, or some random ass part that's just flinging itself off in an effort to get away from Boeing quality control. Man, I am going to have such the horrible body cavity search when I go through TSA. I have to get in that self-checkout line. But then they're going to make me do my own body cavity check, and that's going to be awkward.
That'll be the prompt on the screen.
You've been flagged for a self-inflicted body cavity search. Enjoy. Thank you for visiting the TSA self-checkout. 12 passengers have been hospitalized. I cannot get through this intro. I'm just going to go on to the source. This was over at rte.ie. So it's from Ireland. And passengers on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner said this is not a dream. That the plane quickly lost altitude, flinging some towards the ceiling, i.e. some others. The occupants gained altitude while the plane lost altitude. And that's when Pink Floyd Learning to Fly kicked in. People flew through the air because they weren't wearing their seatbelts, a passenger told New Zealand broadcaster RNZ. Some people got pretty injured. People were really scared as well. One person shat a brick. No, that's not what they said. But I would have. If I wasn't wearing my seatbelt and the plane dropped out of the sky,
right, I hit the ceiling of the plane or
something. Blink, blink. Just bounce around. Hey, where did we find Mayor Watt? He was stowed away in the overhead compartment. Involuntarily. The plane landed in Auckland Airport as scheduled, with dents in the ceiling and the floor.
I'm not sure that on time or whatever is the key thing to emphasize here. It went exactly according to plan.
Seats are randomly assigned in the middle of the flight.
Yep, yours is up on the ceiling. Yours is over in the bin.
Oh, man. adding it deeply regrets any inconvenience and discomfort the situation may have caused, like that seatbelt being lodged in your colon. We're working to gather more information about the flight and will provide support needed by our customers, like, I don't know, PTSD for crying out loud. I don't know how you'd get over that, but
I don't think you would. You'd probably never fly again if something like that happened.
yeah. But, it's not as bad, I suppose, as a door getting ripped off of your plane and then the shirt getting pulled off your body. I still
Yeah,
don't
that person's
understand.
never flying again.
Yeah, at least not with a shirt. Time to go nude. Hey, at least you won't get
It
seen at
works
your.
at the Oscars.
And that's true too. Yeah. And now you can do it at an Airbnb. It's a
And it might
win-win.
stop the surveillance if you do that.
And it stops theft. If everybody is nude. So this next article is over at Late Night Geeks. Ready Player One creator debuts Open, a metaverse battle royale experience. Earlier this year, Readyverse Studios, co-founded by blockchain tech company Futureverse and Ernest Cline, the mind behind sci-fi franchise Ready Player One, announced the Readyverse, an interactive platform for metaverse games and experiences. I've actually seen the demo, not the demo, but the introduction of this. I couldn't make hide or hair. I just didn't understand any of it. So let me just load this up. Lauren Forrestall over at TechCrunch.com put this article together, and this is basically the video. It's as spacey as you want to get it. So if you remember Ready Player One, where they walk into the mechanic shop, and there's like the DeLorean is there and that mechanic is there, and they start talking and stuff like that. Well, you walk past all of this nostalgia inducing set of items, and then you're looking at a regular old TV with an Atari joystick and an Atari controller, so it's harkening back to the Atari era 80s. And this CRT screen here activates and pulls you into the Ready Player One Open is what it's called, which is a battle royale game. What it does, I haven't seen yet. So I saw the trailer and nothing else. I didn't see like play or anything. It wasn't even the extended thing of it, as far as I know, and I could not make any sense out of it. Like, is this something that's going to be immersive in VR or augmented reality? But it says, for those who aren't familiar with Kline's work, Ready Player One is set in 2045 with the planet on the verge of collapse. I don't know about that. As a mental escape, the majority of human population use a virtual reality simulation called the Oasis. And then the hilarity ensues. That's really what, go and watch it, read the book. Now there's Ready Player 2. They say it's a first AAA quality metaverse experience interoperable with AAA IP that leverages Web3 technology. So bingo, I actually won. All of the words are on my card. I'm sorry.
It's everything.
I get the Oasis. So a good portion of the technology is thanks to Futureverse, a platform of 11 companies like gaming studios and blockchain startups. Really, all the blockchain stuff is bullshit, but whatever. But here's the trailer, and I'm going to play it and block it. And it's 53 seconds. So for those in the podcast, they show an they show an Atari controller. They show the little robot, not the robot, the big robot from Ready Player One, which is actually from, I can't remember that really tall robot. Doggone it. We talked about it in the past. And then you see a character, which may be the protagonist in Ready Player One, getting sucked into this. Yeah.
Oh, it's the Iron Giant, I think.
It was Iron Giant, yeah, just kind of sitting collapsed. But that's all it was. right? So the little portal opens up and you get sucked into, arguably, into this world called open, which flips the E to a 3, and it's all elite speak, because, yeah. But it says open soon, hashtag open soon. So, I don't know. I just don't see what this is going to end up being. But if it is a augmented reality game and or a VR game, or is it going to be, it says open is currently being developed for PC, which kind of derps the idea of this being a metaverse compatible game, because the metaverse is largely AR, VR, mixed reality, extended reality. At least that's the ideology behind metaverse, but maybe I've got it
Well, that's
wrong.
interesting. Like, why don't they make this more clear? Or is that part of the hype? Like, make it kind of up in the air and then everybody wants to check it out.
I don't know, man. This isn't, it doesn't seem to have the character or draw of cyberpunk William Gibson. If that were to happen, then I think that this would grab people. I don't see Ready Player One. The problem I think that people are going to have with this is that it's tied to crypto in some way, blockchain, tech company, blah blah blah, all that abstract BS. I mean, as much as I like Ready Player One as a movie and as the book and Ready Player Two, I find this is more like a money grab if it charges money, uh, or it's trying to embody what Ready Player One is, and so they'll keep stuffing stuff into open, the business transactions, real world interactions, and stuff like that that affect the real world, just like the Oasis. When something happened in the Oasis, you either gained or lost in the real world within the Oasis. You may not die, but you could. You feel physical discomfort. You feel pain. You can be harmed. You lose real money. You lose real property. It has the potential, but you know, I don't want to do that in any. I don't want to win or lose when I'm playing a game. I don't want to spend more money. I want to play the game to its rightful end. If there is a conclusion, Minecraft, for instance, is one and done. Haven't had to spend a penny on it since, unless I want to host a server. But I see this kind of, I'm willing to bet that this is going to turn into like a Fortnite kind of thing where you're spending money constantly to be keeping up with the Joneses. But hey, to each their own. I'm not making a judgment call about where you spend your money, but I will make a judgment call about what I do with my money and what I recommend people do with their money. But you do you. And I'm not talking to the AI. Although you do you too. I mean, you're essentially an AI from the future.
That's right. Don't forget it.
Oh my goodness. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Order of the Brew. We actually just call it of the Brew because you could be, I don't know, a member of the Order of the Brew. It was basically there to create kind of like a community about those, or for those who are interested in beer making. So Karl Strauss Brewing releases Follow the Sun Lager as new core beer, which I find really interesting because we're going to have a solar eclipse.
Yes. Do you think that timing is coincidental?
I don't know. Maybe we will find out here. So Karl Strauss.
But also, they're not in the solar eclipse path, I don't think.
No, not even close. They're in San Diego. So Karl Strauss, San Diego's longest continuously operating post-prohibition brewing company, on Sunday at midnight.
On this street.
On this street, yeah. On the beaches of La Jolla. Anyway, today releases Follow the Sun Lager as a new core beer. So I guess it's going to be standardized. They're going to be launching that everywhere. It's a 4.2% alcohol ABV brew. So let's go and find out what this is all about. This is sourced from thefullpint.com. I, I guess the author is named Dan. All right, Dan, thank you very much. It says author Dan at the Full Pint. Okay.
Does that stand for something? That's
I don't,
odd.
I don't know. I don't know. What do I look like the uh, website admin?
Yes.
Do I own the Full Pint craft beer news? No. So it's a 4.2 ABV brew. It's available on draft and in 6-packs of 12-ounce cans at Carl Strauss's 9 Southern California locations. Brewmaster Paul Segura made the announcement. So I guess you're going to have to go to California to get this, but it's in cans, so it has to be doing distribution, right? Carl Strauss has 5 San Diego locations: S4 Ranch, Carlsbad, downtown San Marcos, the Outpost Beer Garden, and Sorrento Mesa. I've been to all of these. The brewery also has brew pubs in Anaheim, Costa Mesa, downtown Los Angeles, and Temecula. So this is a local, but
But it
you
says there's a beer finder, so they might be available more broadly.
right, and you just for store, and then you might be able to get it shipped. Not everybody will ship to every state. So Follow the Sun will be available in 19.2 ounce cans at select sports and music venues. So pretty niche, but hey, if it's really good, it is what it is. But you know what? I think I'm gonna look through ohmTown for some beer brewing tech and see if I can put it in technology today. Because what is really happening in all markets is food is getting so damn expensive that it's, if you want greater options and you don't want to just constantly have to go and buy something and stick it in your refrigerator, it takes up a lot of space. You can actually brew your own with custom mash bill. You just make your own, and it can get very, very close to what is on store shelves, if not better than, because you can start tailoring it to your own tastes. And you only brew it when you want to. You don't have to sit there and store it. Because, we don't have an infinite amount of refrigerator space. But here, I'm going to throw this into the chat. I know that it is hyper local to San Diego, but maybe through the finder you'll be able to find it and have it sent to you. But man, everything is getting really expensive. I just heard about a $4. What was it? $4 for a double cheeseburger at McDonald's or something like that.
Well, that would be a good deal.
And it was $1 2 years ago, but now it's $4. And they've pulled the $1 option off of the dollar menu and put this. Yeah, I'll have to go and look and find it. It's getting a little out of hand. And the last article for today is over in Reality Hacker. Your next job: brain-computer interface surgeon. How do you think about that? When everyone's hooking up their brains to computers, we'll need BCI surgeons to install the hardware.
Sounds like Johnny Mnemonic to me.
Johnny Mnemonic it is. I'll buy into that. I'll dump a chunk of long-term memory. Who needs my childhood? Pfft, not me. Come on. Have you seen my childhood? I've been a mayor since birth. I've just been slowly growing up in this chair. Same chair, by the way. Yeah. Not nice. Anyway, I titled this "Brain Surgeon Simulator Pays Off." So I'm going to go and practice on Brain Surgeon Simulator and get ready so that I can be a brain-computer interface surgeon. That doesn't actually exist on Steam. I would like it to. Surgeon Simulator does, but it's kind of goofy.
I actually think it would be good if a real surgeon trained on that. But I hope they would also do something beyond that.
Wow. I don't know if I want. Sure, maybe like get familiar with all the brain parts and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like see it and everything, but I don't mean that should be the totality of the training.
I guess if you can learn to fly a plane via Microsoft Flight Simulator, I guess you can learn to be a brain surgeon with a with a
But
Steam
hopefully
game.
it's not like real pixelated. Like I want a hyper realistic one if they're gonna
Oh
be
no.
using it for that.
No, hyper realistic blood will upset people's stomachs and having to like get into the brain, that I don't know, people won't really like that. But make it animated like a Fortnite character, right? And it would be fun doing brain surgery right up until you invite somebody over to play the game and you go, hold on, look, I'm really good at this, and then you like grab their head and try it in real life. The article. Oh wait, before I do that, let me throw this into the chat. There you go. So it's over at Wired, and the deck statement. Oh, so Caitlin Kelly is the author. The deck statement says when everyone's hooking up their brains to computers, we'll need surgeons to install the hardware. This is Johnny Mnemonic. It really is. So you just jack into the network and you operate at the speed of thought.
How many gigabytes do you think you can hold?
It's not the size, it's what you do with it. And so,
So there's no risk of like the overload that happened at Johnny Mnemonic?
well, some people suffer from synaptic leakage. It's not their fault, it's their equipment. It just happens sometimes. Not everybody has superior equipment. So there's a lot to like about brain-computer interfaces, those sci-fi sounding devices that jack into your skull and turn neural signals into software commands. Experimental BCIs help paralyzed people communicate, use the internet, and move prosthetic limbs. In recent years, the devices have gone wireless. If mind-reading computers become part of everyday life, we'll need doctors to install the tiny electrodes and transmitters that make them work, except that it's really not surface-mounted. To get the full fidelity of somebody's human or brain computer interface working, it needs to go a little deeper than just surface. You can do this right now externally. In fact, I was going to get one of these devices that monitors neural activity externally, entirely externally. And talking like this really does motivate me to do it. I was going to get those augmented reality glasses, by the way, from Xreal, but I ended up talking to quite a few people about it, and I'm waiting for it to actually hit the market to get production reviews before I buy something that might be the edge of a pre-production run. So if you have steady hands and don't mind a little blood, being a BCI surgeon might be a job for you. Hey, all you have to do, take a couple of community college classes, and then you can just drill right into somebody's skull and slide a little BCI. What? AI, come on.
This is a bit much.
What do you mean? You can get BCI certified in as little as 15 weeks at your local.
I thought you were going to say like 15 minutes, like if you
15
got
minutes
onto
can
the
save
computer
you.
and tried something. And
15 minutes can save you a lot on your insurance. So it says here, Shahram Majidi is a neurosurgeon at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, began operating in clinical trials for a BCI called the stentrode. That's a stent, as in a tube that's often sits inside a vein or an artery that keeps it open. Here he talks about not too distant future where he's performing hundreds of similar procedures a year. So wait, began operating in clinical trials for a BCI called the stentrode in 2022. So not just, began operating in clinical trials, like doing the operations, or Not as a participant. Okay. The way this
No,
reads,
he's the surgeon in it.
yeah, I know, but sometimes you're not just the surgeon, but you're
I see what
a
you mean. Yeah.
customer as well. I mean, that's how they found out about whatchamacallit, the what's the little blue pill, the for ED, what's that?
Viagra?
Viagra. Yeah, the doctor like injected themselves supposedly, and said, "Hey, I've got an idea." Turned out to be a big idea.
I mean,
think
I
it's
guess that's one way to test stuff, right? Because there's so many restrictions about testing anything on humans, but I guess if you're testing it on yourself.
Yeah, that's how you lose your gig, I guess. I I mean,
Well, I mean,
or
it's
you
like you
die.
you assume all the risk, I guess, on you, but
Sure.
maybe it's for greater science or whatever.
Greater science. Oh, well, for BCI, sure, but
Yes, that's what
the
I'm talking about.
the ED drug. Anyway, look, they sought some long-term bonuses with that drug, and they tried it on themselves. So I think that it's a great proof of concept, but it still requires engineers sitting there and a big computer next to you all the time. You can't just use it in your bedroom. We're talking about the BCI. The beauty of the BCI, like the Stentrode, which is what they've worked with, is that nothing is sticking out of your brain. See, my problem with this as an experiment is that at some point, and I've said this before in previous soapboxes about this, when the grant period for the experiment is over, support ends, and there is no long-term maintenance of this outside of the grant period, typically. Why? Because it's typically government funded, and you can't have violations of contracts that extend beyond the term of the grant. So I don't really like experiments. And you go into, I mean, these people that are part of the clinical trials usually have no other option. They're looking to extend their life or increase their quality of life. So there's zero bargaining power except for yourself. But if this moves the needle and we get better and better technology, then I can support it. But me personally, would be extremely nervous about this kind of stuff. So the receiver now is wireless. It's underneath the skin in their chest and connected to a device that decodes the brain signals via Bluetooth. So Bluetooth 5 and low energy, it can run for an extended period of time. It's not necessarily extremely fast, but maybe it's not needed to be fast. It just needs to function reliably. It says it's minimally invasive surgery. You don't have to open the skull. I guess, where do they put it?
Well, they put it in a blood vessel near your brain.
Near your brain, right? Okay. Yeah, because it's a stent, it doesn't obstruct, theoretically, the flow of blood into the brain. You don't have to open the skull. You don't have to violate the anatomy of the brain. Deploying a stent into a blood vessel in the brain is something that they've done thousands of times for other procedures. This time they're deploying a device that will record specific signals coming from a very specific location of the brain. For it to all work correctly, they'll have to make more precise delivery of an implant. I've ever learned to do. So the surgeon will have to be specialized. So yeah, see, that's what they're talking about. Patients that enroll in this are severely disabled. So I suppose that's fine. They're talking about Neuralink in this article as well. But this is an extended article and goes into what somebody's perception of the future is based on their current understanding. And they're a medical professional. So for me, I'm more right now hoping that this type of research continues. They say in 10 years, if you and the author sit down and talk, I'll tell you that yes, this week I have 5 BCIs scheduled and I do them routinely every day. Not every endovascular neurosurgeon will do them, but they're sure there will be several centers of excellence around the country and they'll all start doing this. Yeah. I love the idea of this. In fact, at one point in my life, I wanted to put a subdermal um, RFID sensor in my hand so that I could unlock devices just by my presence. But talk about these, while they're neutral, supposedly in the body, they can cause cancer based on what people are suspecting is the radio transmission when it takes place. And since the little RFID reader or pellet is always being impacted by electromagnetic forces, there's always something going on there. The evidence is really nebulous about this, but they know that it happens with animals, and the little tracker chip that gets put in them, there's a high level of cancer caused by these little devices. But a vet will sit there and say, well, the positives outweigh the negatives. Well, until you're the one that has a pet.
Until your pet has it, yeah.
Yeah. So, at any rate, this is an interesting article, and if you're interested in BCI, cyberpunk type of technologies, the future is going to be us pushing the limit of the biological into the technological and integrating ourselves with tech more and more.
I think this is one of the most outlandish articles we've seen, but one of the most exciting ones, too.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, right? I mean, this person does this all the time.
Exactly. This is not something that they're thinking about. I mean, they're actively doing it and testing it. It's really incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, folks. Well, that's it for tonight. That has been ohmTown Daily News Show for March 11th, 2024. We always drive in the party bus back down to Main Street, and then we whack that sign like we do. We run out of the gym and we smack that Go Citizens banner across the doorway, and then we kick everybody's butt out there on the court or the field or the play ball, whatever. At any rate, I've got a big ask for everybody. I need people to like the videos over on YouTube, download the podcast. There's 3 right now. Just search for ohmTown and you'll pull all 3 up. But I need people to like the videos. I need people to subscribe, but liking it actually impacts the performance of the channel and allows us to get our message amplified, which is talking normally about tech and news, society and science, and just having a good time while we're doing it. We don't talk about other more serious things, and hopefully you learn something new. And ohmTown.com is there for you to use as a news aggregation source. You can go into right now 47 different channels, each with a niche concept in mind. News gets funneled into it, but the main page, which you get to just by clicking on it, lists thousands upon thousands of little headlines and a small snippet provided by the source, and then we link to them and drive traffic over to them. It happens all the time, but we talk about it every day at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then on the weekends we're thinking 5 or 6, but just to be sure, you know what you should do? You should follow us over here on twitch.tv/ohmTown. With that in mind, I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and up there is the sentient AI's visualizer that's making little jitters, but I don't understand why.
It has to do with the critters running through.
Oh, okay.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you tomorrow at about 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching.
Oh, man, I always think that you're going to say more, but then, okay, caught me off guard. Caught me sleeping after I was monologuing. Okay, see you, everybody. Now, where did I put my brain-computer interface?